I welcome you all to the day 5 session of the basic course of artificial intelligence. Today, we'll be talking about the use of artificial intelligence in modeling outcome of ulcerative colitis. Professor Ghoshal will be talking about use of artificial intelligence in of liver cirrhosis. Professor Arunabha will be talking artificial intelligence in telemedicine. First, I would like to tell you all about this disease, the irritable bowel disease, and what we did, like how we have used or how we have built an artificial model on this particular disease by using the structured data that was available with us. First, I would like to tell you all about this disease, the irritable bowel disease. What is it about? The irritable inflammatory bowel disease is actually a very complex and immune-mediated gastrointestinal disorder with ill-defined etiology and with a multifaceted diagnostic criteria and unpredictable treatment responses. So the innovation in IBD diagnostics, including the development in genomics, the sequencing and molecular analytics have generated the tremendous interest in leveraging these large data platforms into clinically meaningful tools. So many researchers have, they have used the machine learning assisted tools to diagnose, to innovate something related to the IBD diagnostics. They have innovated many tools. They have worked on many different tools that can diagnose the disease properly or accurately. So the artificial intelligence, through machine learning facilities, the interpretation of large arrays of data and may provide insight to improving the IBD outcomes. The accurate diagnosis of inflammatory bowel disease relies on a combination of clinical, endoscopic, the histopathologic data that is available with us, the laboratory data, and the radiographic data. So these all we can say that the diagnostic algorithms and the management of the IBD, we can use these data, the data we can extract from the clinical characterization of the patients. We can extract the data from the endoscopic reports. We can extract the structured or the unstructured data from the unstructured data from the histopathology images that is available with us. We can also extract the structured data from the laboratory parameters that are there. And we can also extract the unstructured data from the radiographic images that is available. On the basis of these data, we can build a machine learning assisted tool through which we can make the diagnosis. The significant heterogeneity exists in both the quality of these critical diagnostic components and subsequent interpretation, as they are inherently dependent on confounders such as the technical skills and experience of the provider. So we can see that what are the sources of big data that is available with us related to this disease, that it is irritable bowel disease. There are many sources of big data that is available with the clinicians. We can say that the clinical trials, the data that we get from the clinical trials, the data that we retrieve from the electronic records that is available, and that is not, the clinicians actually make the minimal use of those data because they don't even realize that these data are actually the source of a big data. Like there are many data available with them, and we can develop such machine learning assisted tool that can help us to make the diagnostic algorithms, and that can help the clinician to diagnose accurately. The large clinical trials, the electronic health records data are available, which are the source of a big data. The medical imaging, the data that we're retrieving from the medical imaging, the biobanks and the multiomic, the genomic and the transcriptomic, the researchers might be knowing these, the data that we retrieve from these processes, the metabolomic and the proteomic. The databases are used in an effort to improve the diagnostic accuracy and predictability or treatment response. And they can use these big data to develop a predictive model which is confounded by high dimensionality of the clinical and non-clinical factors. So to overcome this challenge, we have a solution with us, and that is the machine learning that helps us to utilize or organize and interpret these large data sets that is available with us, that is available with the clinicians. They can interpret these large data sets in an effort to identify clinically meaningful patterns, and they can also use it to translate them to improve the patient, the management of the particular disease that they're dealing with. Here we'll be talking about the precision medicine and IBD, the irritable bowel disease. Here you can see what could be the sources of the big data, or what could be the big data analytics part. The sources of the big data could be the electronic health records, the clinical characteristics of the patients, the patient's questionnaire, the disease scoring reports that the clinicians are using, the researchers are using, the lifestyle, the questionnaire is related to their lifestyle, the diet and smoking, and etc. The laboratory reports that are available, the investigations report that are available, the imaging technologies, the sources of the large data that are available with us, with the clinicians related to the imaging technologies, are endoscopic reports or the endoscopic images that is there with the clinicians, the CT enterography, the MR enterography, the GI, the gastrointestinal ultrasound, and the histopathology. The high throughput omics data that is available with the researchers, the basic scientists, the genomics data, these all are the sources of the big data that is available with the clinicians or the basic scientists or the researchers. They can use these data to build a perfect artificial intelligence model. The big data analytics, the database system, the relational databases that is available, we store data on the cloud, the artificial intelligence systems that is available, the language processing, the machine learning, which could be of two types, the unsupervised learning and the supervised learning type, and deep learning. So this is the structure where you can see how the BICS, what are the sources of the BICS data that is sources of big data or the large data that is available with us, and how we can process it by using the machine learning mechanism or the tools or the deep learning tools to assist us, to assist the clinicians, to assist the scientists, the basic scientists, to assist the researchers, to interpret some meaningful information from the data that is available, whether it is available in structured form or whether it is available in unstructured form. So they can precision medicine in how the precision medicine is the application of the precision medicine in inflammatory bowel disease. We know the patient profiling. We extract the data of the patient profiling on the basis of the questionnaire, the different questionnaire that is available with us. We know that what could be the biomarkers, what could be the patient, how we can stratify the patient, and how we can improve how the drug response prediction, we can predict the drug responses. We can also improve the prognosis. So the generation of the big data from thousands of individuals, along with the analytical advancements such as machine learning and system biology, they assist the application of precision medicine, and therefore it allows the patient stratification. Like the clinician can easily stratify the patient into, like, okay, these are these are the patients of the strata 1. They are not at high risk. These they belong to the strata 2. These are those patients. They come under this category of strata 2 because they are at a high risk of getting this particular disease. So you can easily do the patient stratification process. And these patient stratification process would be very helpful in disease management strategies. The machine learning is a subset of artificial intelligence that utilizes the algorithms with the goal of identifying the patterns or generating the predictive models as a result of learning from an input data set. So input data set could be of structured or unstructured, both. So this is achieved through supervised and unsupervised learning. In supervised learning, the algorithm is trained on a labeled training dataset or the labeled training input units that we provide to our model or to the network to recognize the patterns that is associated with the specific group. The specific group could be of the healthy or the disease. The algorithm then uses what it has learned from the training data set to place unseen data into specific categories. That it will tell you if you have been provided with a set of the leaves, and you have been told that you have to classify these sets of leaves into disease and non-disease. So how you are going to do that? You need to have some data with you in order to process the features of the leaf that is available with you. Then only you'll be able to classify those leaves into diseased or non-diseased. So the most commonly employed supervised machine learning models are random forest, the neural networks, and support vector machine. The unsupervised model, they use an unlabeled training data set, and the algorithm identifies the pattern within the data, which is guided by the similar characteristics without the knowledge of associated diagnosis or outcomes. So here I'm showing you an article which we have published, and here we have predicted the outcome of treatment of acute severe ulcerative colitis using principal component analysis, which is the linear regression model, and by using the non-linear modeling technique, that is of artificial intelligence. And we have predicted we have concluded that the prediction of the response to the medical treatment in patients with UC using linear and non-linear modeling technique is possible by taking these parameters into consideration. So this is how we got the results. The advances in diagnostic and disease severity assessment, the endoscopic, like we are talking about the irritable bowel disease. So here in this IBD, the endoscopic evaluation is available, with mucosal biopsies remain an integral component to diagnosing IBD, and yet it carries the several limitations. We can use the results of the endoscopic evaluation. We can use the results of the histopathology reports that are available with the clinician to make the diagnosis. The endoscopy may not be available to adequately distinguish between the subtle overlapping features of the various IBD phenotypes, resulting in diagnostic dilemma. Therefore, we can use there are many techniques got developed after that, and genome-wide association studies, they have identified over 240 gene loci that have been linked to increased risk of developing IBD, and they can assist in distinguishing the CD, the Crohn's disease, and ulcerative colitis. The Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis are actually the categories of the IBD, because IBD is comprised of Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis. The machine learning assisted metagenomic, proteomic, and microbial prediction model. These models, researchers or many researchers that are doing work in this medicine field, they have fitted these kind of model which could predict, they have fitted these kind of which could identify this predictive signatures that can distinguish these Crohn's disease, that can distinguish the Crohn's disease and the ulcerative colitis. They allow them for improved characterization of the irritable bowel disease subtypes and risk stratification. So many advancements have been made in this field. We can clearly see, like, the artificial intelligence has also been utilized to enhance the interpretation of endoscopic images to assess the disease severity. The prediction of treatment and response. The prediction of treatment response and disease reoccurrence. The machine learning algorithms have been developed to analyze the predictive indicators of response for several IBD medications also. And one study that was published, it was able to demonstrate that the machine learning algorithms could outperform the conventional theobrine metabolite testing to predict the response. So here are the studies which have used these machine learning models, and they have used the molecular and the clinical data to identify the biomarkers which could be the predictive of response to the medicines that they are using as a treatment purpose. The multiple artificial intelligence algorithms have also been used, or they have also been developed to alter the endoscopist of polyps in the real time. And many researchers are also using these machine learning assisted tools by using the visual or auditory cues during the colonoscopy. The convolutional neural networks have also been used to improve the adenoma detection in the general population, even for more experienced endoscopists. So artificial neural network has also been used, has also been applied to complementary deoxyribonucleic acid or the microarray data. They have the potential to discriminate the subtle difference between the polyp and subtypes. And you can see that how the clinical management of the IBD from the point of diagnosis to life-term monitoring and fellowship and follow-up, how it has been used. Like for the diagnosis purpose, how it has been used for the various treatment algorithms have been made to identify, to make the risk and the benefit assessments, to response prediction, to personalized therapy regimen, and for assessing the patients clinically, for risk of calculation things, for biomarker measurement things, and for imaging investigation, for life management things. Each stage of the disease management process can potentially patient care that can reduce and the healthcare system. This is how it has been used in many fields. Various advances in imaging technologies. This is the graphical representation of a simple deep learning based image segmentation. So what are the limitations of the artificial intelligence? We can use artificial intelligence and we know that it has the ability to identify the high risk subgroups and which could inform the treatment decisions. There it remains the several obstacles to its routine implementation, and that is it analyzes the analysis of the big data sets, the cross-sectional nature of the machine learning data sets, and the systematic errors or the bias. So overcoming the obstacles to machine learning in IBD will require the collaborative efforts of, between the clinicians, these bioinformaticians to develop the algorithms that could be capable of generating the clinically meaningful outputs.